Hey guys, Zach at All Strength Training. I wanted to talk about strength training today. Specifically, I wanted to talk about what is the end goal for strength training. Now, I specifically want to talk about how we want to use strength training if our goal is body fat loss. Okay, so there's a ton of different training structures and methods and systems that we can use. There's training full body workouts, there's individual body part splits, there's high rep, there's low rep, there's 30-minute workouts, there's 60-minute workouts. There's a lot of different ways we can structure this. But I want to kind of go over the types of things that we want to get from our strength training, and I want to talk about things that we're not trying to get specifically from our strength training. All right. If we look at a pretty comprehensive training program, there's going to be a few different components to it. So there's going to be things like the actual strength training process. There's going to be things like your cardiovascular conditioning. There's going to be the nutrition component of it. And number one, if you're not paying attention to your nutrition component, you will never, ever, ever out-train a diet that isn't structured to put you into a calorie deficit. So keep that in mind, that everything I'm going to talk about still kind of makes that a fundamental part of this. Is if we're not calorie deficit, nothing I'm going to talk about is really going to matter. Okay, and then so we've got training, we've got nutrition, we've got our cardio system, and we've got lifestyle adjustments. Are we recovering well? Are we making sure we're staying injury free? Are we sleeping? All that sort of stuff. So we don't just want to point the finger at one piece of this and try to put all of our eggs in one basket on it. With strength training, the number one adaptations that we're trying to get from strength training is more strength and more muscle tissue. All right, so those things will allow us to accelerate the body fat process, and it will allow us to sustain the results a lot more easily than in the absence of strength training. There's a lot of research that shows that the presence of strength training versus when people don't have strength training, even with the same dietary structures, results are not only better, but they're easier to sustain. So what we want is we want to focus on strength. Okay, strength is going to do things like increasing bone density, increasing tendon and ligament thickness. It's going to put us in a position to add more muscle tissue if that's the way that we kind of want to go about it. You can be really strong without adding muscle if you train in primarily low rep styles, like a power lifter, sets of like 1 to 5 reps. You're not going to get a lot of muscle from that. But if you get really strong and then start increasing your reps to train more like a bodybuilder, now you got the potential to add more muscle tissue than if you hadn't gotten strong in the first place. But the thing that we do not want to try to use our training for is a calorie funnel. Okay? And what I mean by that is I don't want to go into the gym and start my Apple Watch or smartwatch or whatever it is, and I don't want to hyperfixate on the number of calories that watch tells me when my workout is over. For a couple of reasons. Number one, I think all the numbers those devices give are complete bullshit. There's no data to show that there's any accuracy to that information. But we're also not just using strength training for the right now. We're not focusing on what happens during that actual training session. We're looking at what adaptations does our body make after the workout is over. So there's a lot of benefit to using strength training to add more muscle. You get increased insulin sensitivity. You get increased potential caloric output during the workout. If you went from squatting 50 pounds to squatting 150 pounds, every squat you do is going to require more effort. And then after strength training is over, you've got this increased metabolic output because during the next 12 to 36 hours after a workout is over, you have to recover. Okay, during a training session, you're damaging your muscle tissue. Okay, so for your body to adapt to that workout, we create some damage, and then your body repairs it so that the next time you do that workout, it won't get damaged. It's sort of like if someone breaks a bone, when that bone heals, it'll heal even stronger than it was before, so you'll never break that bone in the same spot again. That's sort of happening to your muscle tissue every time you walk into the gym and every time you lift a weight, provided you're training hard enough that you're actually creating some muscle damage. Okay, so that's going to be a big key here. Okay, so we're trying to create muscle damage, which allows protein synthesis to happen, which is basically what happens when your body is repairing and recovering. You know, you break down protein from your muscles during your workout, and then over the next day and a half, your body is then synthesizing new protein to create new muscle, which then creates, a better starting position for next time. Again, instead of squatting 50 pounds for 10 reps, maybe now I can squat 55 pounds for 10 reps, or I can squat 50 pounds for 12 reps, and that process just gradually accumulates. However, we don't want to treat our strength training simply as cardio. Our goal is not to say, okay, how much can I sweat? How much can I make my muscles burn? How tired can I make myself? Because at that point, all your workout becomes is a glorified run on the treadmill. And you're going to completely miss a lot of those adaptations, because if we focus on the calorie funnel side of it, the thing that's going to get in the way is your heart and your lungs' ability to keep up. And what happens there is that if my heart and lungs can't recover before I'm ready to get under that weight again, it might limit my ability to do 10 reps. Maybe now I'm breathing so heavily I can only get 6 reps. Even if my legs could have continued to go, my heart and lungs can't. And that becomes the bottleneck to progress. So and this could apply to, again, I see this a lot with full body workouts in particular. People will walk in and say, well, my focus is just let me keep going round the clock, nonstop, no rest, no time for water, no time to actually let muscles recover before that next training session. And often this will come from somebody who's really focused on, I don't want to get too big, or I don't want to get too bulky. It could be guys who just want a really more of like a trim physique. Often this is really common with women, where they will just hammer themselves with tons of sets and tons of reps and never rest, because the focus becomes on, what is this goddamn watch on my wrist going to tell me when the workout is over? Oh, my workout only says I burn 150 calories. Well, Karen's workout says she burned 250 calories, so therefore she must have had a better workout. It's not accurate, okay? You're misusing strength training. You might as well just be on a treadmill. Okay, but you're missing all those other adaptations that strength training provides you. So whether you're training in a individual body part split, maybe one day is your legs, one day is your chest, one day is your arms, traditional sort of bodybuilder kind of structure. Maybe you're doing one day is your upper body, one day is your lower body. There's a lot of different training splits. Maybe you're doing full body training every time. So every time you walk in, it's maybe 5 or 6 exercises to cover the whole body. Even if that's our focus, we don't want to focus on how many calories can we burn now. We want to focus on getting stronger. We want to focus on creating the adaptations that last past just that individual workout, because the accumulation of those adaptations is going to dramatically outweigh the extra 50 calories your watch might say you burned by cutting out all your rest and using weights that are so light that you're doing 20 or 30 reps at a time and your sets are lasting 2 or 3 minutes. There's a time and a place for those types of things in a strength training program, but if that's your normal, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So, strength train for strength and for muscle. Don't treat it like cardio workouts. Okay, so hopefully this makes a lot of sense. If you have questions, make sure you throw a comment down into the comments below. I'll be happy to answer it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see more stuff like this.